working with Preston and really just seeing how important our mindset is and what we align ourselves with and what truths we believe about ourselves and how much that really plays in to our businesses with Plexus. So our main goal, my goal for y'all and your leaders' goals for you and probably your goal for you and your own family is really for helping people, making an impact and getting financial gain from it. So all of this ties in together, and that's what I love about it. I used to kind of think, okay, personal growth, yeah, that's wonderful, and like, yeah, cheer, rah, do this thing, persevere. But what I didn't realize is that when you're in a hard place mentally, it's like driving a car with the emergency brake on. And you get in this car and it's all, shiny and new and the radio's on and you're super excited and you get in and you're driving and you're like, this just won't go as fast as I want it to. So you're working harder and not going as fast. But when you can align yourself and do the growth it takes, things start to just happen because you're aligning yourself. And so I just love that we can take the time on Monday nights to really be doing some mindset stuff. After tonight's call, Preston is doing a call for us as well, and he's going to be offering some Monday night coaching. And so I'm really excited to just be kind of introducing Monday night mindset is sort of what we're going to call it, and kind of just really hone in on that. So tonight's guest probably doesn't even need an introduction for you guys. You've probably seen her name all over the place. This girl is absolutely on fire. And I remember talking with her not very long ago and just talking about, she's kind of like, well, I'm just, I'm kind of stuck, but I'm gonna do this, and I'm determined I'm gonna do it. Next thing I know, this girl went from gold to senior gold. She's going Ruby this month, and then she got a call from her coach who's like, you probably go senior Ruby this month. That's insanity. And I've watched this girl put the work in, the mindset. She has the heart and the passion. And I just cannot say enough stuff about this girl. I just adore her inside and out. I think she's such a beautiful light for the Lord. And I just am just so proud of her. And so I asked her, Miss Ali Sullivan, to hop on tonight and just share how her mindset shifted, what that looked like for her business, what that looked like for her personal life, and just kind of her story around her mindset. So if you guys can turn your videos on and show her your face, I know that will just encourage and support her so much more. So you take it away, girlfriend.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for hopping on. Yeah, it has been like a complete turnaround. That is like literally the past couple of days, I'm like, I don't even know what's happening anywhere. It's like so crazy. But basically, I'll just kind of start from the beginning of this year. So something I did in the beginning of this year, last year I hit gold, and I think I hit gold on like sheer like willpower and just determination of like, I like doing this, which also was a big step for me to begin with, to just do things that I was afraid of, right? Reach out to people and stuff. But I had that goal and I made it happen. And then I sat at gold for a long time, was trying to grow my team and everything. And I really want this to work. And I know that it can work. And I really felt in my heart from the beginning that this was something I was supposed to do. And I felt like it aligned with, what I wanted, what I felt interested in with health and wellness and all these things. And like, we needed the products. So that is like, obviously these products are incredible. And so that was like, okay, this is awesome. But doing the business part was like a huge step out of my comfort zone for me. So this year I decided I'm going all in with this, and like, we're doing this because I feel this is a calling, and I can't not. Like, I would be doing myself and my family a disservice to not really do what I'm supposed to do. So I started out this year and I picked a word for the year. That was my first step. I think that the reason why that was a big step in shifting my mindset is because choosing a word for the year was about me being willing to make a change in my life. Me being willing to say, I don't want to stay stuck where I am anymore, and I'm going to do something different to get out of it. And so thinking about that, and praying about it a lot, the word that I decided to choose was the word breakthrough. And it was like, I need a breakthrough. I need a breakthrough in my finances. I need a breakthrough like in relationships. I need a breakthrough in just feeling like I'm sitting in this place for all of these years and like nothing is happening. And, you know, I did a lot of like personal growth when I was in high school and when I was in college, because you're just like immersed in these environments where you're just being challenged all the time and taught. And I really soaked that up and loved it. But now all of a sudden you become like an adult and you have kids and the life and a job and whatever. And it's like, nobody is telling you, oh, hey, let's work on this. You're just like surviving basically. So choosing that word really made me like say, I need to do something different. Now I've always been somebody who, I always considered myself having a strong faith, but that faith was all about in like what God could do and just like, oh, he's going to just like make these things happen. And what I realized in choosing the word breakthrough was it's like, how do breakthroughs happen? Well, breakthroughs happen by like doing the things every day until the breakthrough comes, right? Like making a choice. If you want to like work out and lose weight and get healthy that way, like, well, I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and just like have abs because I decided I believe I could have abs. Well, no, I got to start doing some work. I got to do some cardio and I got to run and I got to do the ab workouts, right? Like I have to make a change and do something different. And that type of consistency is something that I struggle with. I'm a high energy person. I get super passionate. I'm like event driven. Okay. I run a children's ministry and VBS is my favorite thing all year long because it's like high energy for 1 week. And so that consistent week to week stuff is hard for me because it's like, you're not feeling that energy, right? So the discipline stuff has always been difficult for me, but I decided if I want to see a breakthrough in my life and let God do what he can do, I have to do my part and I have to be willing to do the work. So obviously for us in this business, that's about doing IPAs, about reaching out to people and following up and posting. But there's also this part in there about personal growth, right? And on the IPA sheet that a lot of us have, it says like 10 minutes of personal growth a day. So it's like, okay, cool. So I decided my personal growth in the beginning of the year was going to be reading my Bible. Like, let's start with that. Like, how could I possibly invest in some other type of personal growth if I'm not being consistent with that? So for me, it was like, I have to at least start with this and then I'm going to like keep adding on to it. But this is the foundation. This is the core. And if I don't have that, I have nothing, right? So I started doing the consistent things, the IPA. I started getting up and like just reading my Bible and getting back into that because it can be hard when you have kids and you're busy. So, but I decided I wasn't going to let that be an excuse anymore. So I picked that word. I decided I was going to do the work to make the word happen. And I will say that if you pick a word, if you do a dream board, and if you decide you're willing to do the work, like, don't be surprised when things actually start happening. So things started happening. I started having these breakthroughs in the way that I thought about things. I was always somebody who felt so torn in a business like this, like feeling like, is this right? Or, well, how can I talk about this? Or am I going to offend somebody? Or am I going to be this way? Or, okay, well, I'm trying to like make this certain amount of money. Is that like a good thing? And I was had all of these crazy thoughts. And I was like, I have to figure this out. And I have to align myself with like, with what my values are and what the Lord thinks and really recognize this. So doing that mind shift of doing the, I kind of just lost my train of thought for a second, but of doing the IPA every day, doing the personal growth, and then recognizing that I had like all of these old thoughts and like, okay, is this stuff based in truth or is it based in like fear or just what I have always known? And the majority of it was based in fear. It was based in like fear of offending people or fear of people not liking me or fear of people thinking I didn't like them. And I thought less of them because maybe they say no or because they disagree with me on something. And I realized like, oh gosh, I don't want to live that way. So then the next thing, okay, that came with a big mindset shift for me was an identity shift. Okay, so that is, I think, the biggest part of what completely changed my mindset was recognizing something new about my identity. And there was a specific moment that it happened. I was talking to some of the girls on my team who are incredible, and they were sharing with me results they were having, whether it was in the business or in life or their health. I don't even remember what it was in that moment, but I remember this feeling of like, these women are so incredible and what they're doing is so incredible. Like, how can I possibly be worthy of leading them or even being with them? And in that exact moment, I just heard this so clearly, like in my mind, in my heart, my spirit, whatever you want to call it, like the way you feel about them is the way I feel about you. And it was this moment of like, I have been a youth director for a long time. I have like encouraged people for so long. I've lived with family members who I pour into, and I would never say something to them like they're not worthy of anything. But that was what I was telling myself. Like, how could I possibly be worthy of doing this? And just that voice of, you are, like, that's how I see you. And so recognizing that I'm not worthy because of the things I've done or because of my abilities. I'm worthy merely because I am, right? Because I'm somebody who was created by God, who is living and breathing and walking. Like, I am worthy of whatever, like, you know, of being his and of whatever that means. And so, so that shift in my mind of like, stop selling yourself short and lowering what you can do because you think that you're not worthy of it. I mean, and so that really shifted that. I mean, literally I was like broke down in tears because it was just like this realization that I had all my life of pouring into people and not telling myself that same truth. Right. So the identity shift happened. The next thing so that was a breakthrough, right? So when I say like, oh goodness, breakthroughs start happening, when you're willing to do the work, those things are going to happen. The changes are going to come. So the other thing I realized in that, right, is like I have 4 kids and I have a daughter who's 10, and, you know, she's a gymnast, and being a gymnast is a very competitive sport. And like, there's not, people just think, oh, the Olympics. And it's like, the Olympics happen once every 4 years. And there's like 5 girls, now only 4 who make it to the team. But am I going to tell my 10-year-old, well, the Olympics, that's kind of like a far off goal? Heck no, I'm not. I'm going to tell her if she wants to go to the Olympics, then she better get her butt in the gym and she could do it. Like, let's work for it. And so I was like, I'm not doing that for myself though. I'm not saying if you want to do this, you could do it, now do the work. I'm just like, yes, maybe it'll happen. And honestly, for me, I felt like me not doing the work was giving myself a safe place to say, if this fails, at least I can say, well, it's because I didn't really put in all the effort, you know, and I had that like something to fall back on. But if I put in all the effort and it doesn't work, like, then what can I say? But if I don't put in all the effort, how could this possibly happen? So that really realizing what I was using as an excuse, and like, no, what kind of example do I want to set for my kids to say, like, you know what, just go after it. Stop being afraid. Just get off your butt and do it and see what happens, you know? Okay. So then the next thing, there's some like really specific, clear things that happen. So I'm going like step by step here for you guys. So the next thing was like, I went on the winter retreat, with Megan, and through that winter retreat, we talked about a lot of things. We did a little training, and on my drive back home, when I was just like debriefing with myself and processing and thinking about all the things that we had talked about, it was like all of a sudden my mind I realized what everybody was saying, but it like clicked in a new way. And basically what it was for me is like, right, we do this personal growth in our IPA, like 10 minutes of personal growth so that we can get to whatever the goal is, emerald or diamond or senior gold or whatever, silver. So we're doing this 10 minutes of personal growth. And what I realized was like, well, what is my goal really? Is my goal really about like an amount of money or a rank? No, my goal is about, I want to be the person I was made to be. That's my goal. I want to be what I was made for. I want to do what I was made for. And I think that all of a sudden, if I hit diamond, well, now all of a sudden I'm going to make an impact on people. And all of a sudden I'm not going to be afraid to talk to people about things that are uncomfortable or, you know, no, like that's silly. How is that going to just magically happen with a number? And so I started realizing like, I have to be the person I want to be then. I have to be that person now, but on a smaller scale. Right. So right now, maybe I have 3 people as an audience, right, in my family or my immediate circle or people on my team. Like, be that for them. Be somebody who's vulnerable. Be somebody who wants to make an impact. Be somebody who's willing to pour in. If I want to be financially free, like I have to be financially smart with my money, as little as it might be right now. I can't just be like, well, when I get up there, well, now all of a sudden I'm going to be smart with finances. That doesn't really make sense. You have to start somewhere. And so I realized like personal growth isn't just to achieve like this rank. The ultimate goal is personal growth. It's becoming the person you were made to be. And these ranks, these like accomplishments are merely a representation, like an evidence that you are growing and becoming the person you made to be. Because if I want to be somebody who's not afraid, who doesn't live by fear, well, you can bet that me hitting senior gold and showing that I was willing to step out and talk to people, even though I was afraid, means that I'm facing that fear. Right. And so it's a representation. It's so much more than just hitting a rank. It's a representation that I'm doing the work to become the person I was made to be. So that was a really big thing for me to realize that, you know, the goal is not just a rank. The goal is not amount of money. The goal is when you, like, you know, people will say it all the time, think about who are you when you're in that place. And I was always kind of like, okay, yeah, that's who I am. But it just hit me in this new way of like, right, I'm somebody, for me, who is making an impact. I'm somebody who's making an impact on a lot of people. I'm somebody who has a home that people can come to, that my kids' friends feel like it's a safe place, all that. And it's like, well, be that person right now. You know, be that person right now. You might not be it to 5,000 people, be it to the 6 other people who live in your house and the people you go to church with, and then keep growing that circle. Because I realized, like, as your capacity grows, it continues to grow. And then there's more people to fill it, and more people to fill it, and more people to fill it. So, that was a big realization. And I think that was where the biggest shift started to really happen in my business, because I stopped looking at the rank as a goal, and I started looking at I want to cry, but becoming the person that I was made to be in all of its fullness. Right. And I have had seasons in my life. I think we all could probably like think of a season where maybe we felt like the most alive. Right. Like, I believe that, like Jesus said, I have come that they may have life and life to the full. Like, I believe that when we talk about eternal life, we don't just mean after we die, because eternity is past, present, and future. It's everything. So eternity, like, starts now, right? Full life, eternal life can start today. That's what I believe. And so I was like, I have had seasons where I felt like I was living that abundant life because I just felt so filled up in whatever I was learning or whatever I was doing. I could see God all around me, and I could recognize the opportunities that were presenting themselves. But when I lived in this kind of closed off place of I'm just stuck, well, I just felt stuck, and all I saw was stuckness all around me. All I saw was like the mud I was stuck in. You know, I didn't see like maybe the tree branch hanging down to pull myself out, right? Like, you're only looking at that thing. And so when I started to climb out of that, the opportunities started to become so obvious. And for me, it was God working started to become super obvious, and him and the belief that he was building in me to say, like, no, it's not that you just can do this. Like, you are made to do this. You are meant to do this, and this is going to happen. Like, are you on board or not? Basically, like, are you ready for this to happen now, or do you still have work to do to get there? Do you want to say something, Alita? Oh, you look like you're going to jump in. Okay.
You're killing it. Like, I'm a page of notes over here. Killing it.
Okay. So it was like seeing those things. And I have the seasons in my life, like, I can think about most was like, when I married my husband, right? A lot of people were wary of it, maybe against it. And it was really hard for me, but I just knew beyond the shadow of a doubt that there were signs and confirmations, and God was showing me things where it was like, I can't not do this. To not do this would be like flat out disobedience to what God is bringing me to in my life right now. And I can't not. And if this is the only thing I'm ever going to do for myself, this is going to be the thing that it is. And there were so many things. Like, I will just say that, like, God speaks to us in ways that we can understand, right? There are things that we recognize, we know, like, oh goodness, like that, there's no way that was a coincidence, right? And there were things popping up all the time. And it's like, all of a sudden, why for all these years, okay, little things pop up here and there, but it's like, you close your eyes to it. And when I shifted that mindset of like, no, yes, you're doing this and you can do this, and I'm willing to do the work to make it happen, I started seeing those things again, right? I started to recognize the opportunities that were around me, the people that were around me who I could pour into, and they're not being like, oh, Allie, you're so annoying. No, they're like, yes, come on, let's do this. And like, so stop being afraid. Stop being afraid to speak truth to those people, right? And give them all of that. you know, and so even this past week, it was like the craziest things were happening. And I'm like, God, you are doing something. And I even said to my husband, I was like, is this crazy? Like, is this crazy to think that I could hit Ruby and then hit Senior Ruby? And he's like, no. He's like we've seen things happen before. Like God is, I mean, he's saying all the things to you. He's doing all the things are popping up. Like, just do it. Just decide that you're going to do it and do it, you know? And, you know, Preston said something on his last call a couple weeks ago where he said, like, being at that third place of not thinking, okay, it's possible, but for other people, or it's possible, but how do I do it? Or this is inevitable for me. And I can honestly say that I have come to a point at the beginning of this year where I was like, no, this is inevitable for me. But am I, like, you know, when you're in that stage too, you're like, okay, am I ready to make this happen? And it's like, no, this is happening. And it's all about, am I willing to let it or not, you know? And so many times I think that I was just holding myself back by using those excuses because I was like, am I really ready to do this? Can I really do this? You know, like, am I willing to say to people that I believe this can happen? Because some people will think that you're crazy. Like when I had everybody over my house for Easter and I'm saying, no, my husband's not coming to Vegas with me because he's saving his vacation days for Hawaii. You could bet that people were rolling their eyes. And I was like, oh, and my kids are like, oh yeah, like Hawaii. And I'm like, no, because we believe that is going to happen, you know? And so anyway, like, I will just to reiterate, okay, like picking a word because it means that you're willing to make a change, right? You have to be willing to do something different and get unstuck. Then like that identity, who am I? And I would just say, if you feel like, I don't know, do I have an identity problem? Think about, what do I tell my kids or what do I tell other people? And am I giving myself that same message or am I saying something different to myself when I look in the mirror? Because that is going to be the number one way to know if you're speaking truth. So like think of the last person you spoke something encouraging to and then say that same thing to yourself and like see how it probably feels weird because you're not used to doing it, right? And then and recognizing that the goal is not, okay, I have to get emerald, I have to get gold, I have to get diamond. It's, I am going to become the person I'm made to be. I'm going to have the impact that I am made to have. And you know what? And these things are just going to keep coming as I do that. So, yeah, that's it.
Girl, I mean, come on. For real. I mean, anyone else just unmute and just tell this girl, I mean, she just preached it down. I mean, seriously, incredible.
Allie, that was amazing. I mean, I feel like you need your own podcast.
Yeah, girl.
Yes.
Killing it.
Totally.
So good.
Totally. I mean, killed it. I'm just like over here, like, kind of feeling just like jaw drop down is how best way I could describe it. And I'm just thinking, like, I was getting super emotional because it's, you know, that's always the hope, right? When we do this is as we figure out our breakthroughs and we share them with other people, and you can see that, you know, you saying this stuff, Allie, is not just helping, not even just your team, it's helping me, it's helping everybody on this call who showed up tonight or who watches this recording that says, I can relate to that. Because there's so many things, you know, sometimes I get in my head even about like, okay, well, I could do a call, but it's going to be the same stuff. Like, I don't feel like I have anything new to offer anybody. It's going to be the same stuff. And that's why I just love, because it's like, you guys, we could hear the same stuff. We could hear, you know, Preston tell us to break through. And we could hear, you know, Allie tells to break through, and you know, Megan whoever it is, and it's like it won't click until it's that somebody who comes in and is willing to be vulnerable, is willing to say, this is where I was. And when you shared that, like, I was literally like choked up, because you're like, all you see is stuckness around you. And where is your focus? And if your focus is on the stuckness around you, then that's where you're going to be. And I think that you hitting on identity is so powerful and so encouraging. And I wrote down, you said, doing the things every day until the breakthrough comes. I mean, I could have got up off my chair and shouted. It is the freaking truth. Doing the things until the breakthrough comes. So good. Discipline. You had a whole bunch of D's. Doing, discipline, decided. So you're doing the things, you're disciplined, you're consistent until the breakthrough. You decided to do the work. And then you were able to do an identity shift. And I just think that is like, if anybody, girl, a really great speaker comes in and is relatable and tells a story of where they were and now where they are, an amazing, incredible, powerful, inspirational speaker can come in and tell you how to apply it to you. And that's exactly what you did. You gave us steps for exactly how to do it. It's doing the work, which we all know is the IPA with Plexus. Becoming the person I want to be. So thinking of yourself, if you want to be an emerald next year, this time next year, are you an emerald now? Because that's what it takes. And I can distinctly remember, we're going to hop off here in a minute, but I can distinctly remember, when I was about to go emerald, and I actually pulled up my posts from that year of just all the things I was posting, and it was intense and it was vulnerable, and I was doing lives. I was like crying my eyes out. I'm just so vulnerable, pouring my heart out to people, pouring my heart out to my team, really inviting people in on a journey. And I think that, if you look at any emerald that is, kind of in Plexus that you admire, that you think about, they invite you in on a journey. Are you inviting people in on the journey? Are you inviting your team in on the journey? And doing just like Ali did, she's showing up here and saying, I was stuck not long ago, but here I am and my business is booming and people are going, what is she doing? And I love, she's not coming on here and saying, it's this strategy and it's this strategy. It's literally, she had an identity shift, gave the tools for how she did it, and she's going to keep doing it. And I 100%, I just am so proud. I can hardly even handle myself. I just think it's so amazing. Because it is work and it's not easy to put yourself on the line and to be really truthful with yourself and say, do I really think I'm worth it? To really close your eyes and ask yourself, do I believe I'm worth it? And I think we're really shocked at the answer that comes up when we're really allowing ourselves to be honest and not just the whole, well, of course I'm worth it, but really asking yourself in your fear story, what is that telling you?
Yep.
And believing that.
Okay, I just did one really last thing. I know we have to get off. I forgot to say is that recognizing too, right? Do I believe I'm worth it? And for my family, am I ready to make the change? And what I realized, the word that came in was, I am breaking the generational curses, right? I'm breaking the patterns of being bad with finances, of being unmotivated, of thinking I can never amount to anything. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm not educated enough, whatever. I'm breaking that cycle by doing this. And so that is what this opportunity is to break those cycles.
Girl, I cannot even. I'm just so proud of you. That was amazing. For real, amazing. I think you really changed some lives tonight. Definitely inspired me, encouraged me in a big, big way. So I love you guys so much. These are going to be happening on Monday nights at 8:30 until I know what time Preston's are at, and then we'll kind of just do some switching around. But we will see you guys next Monday night, 8:30. You killed it, Ali. So let's all hop on over to Preston's Zoom. He's going to be doing some coaching like he did last time, so you never know who he's going to call on. So love y'all. Thank you guys so much.